my beautiful presence hearts. So I just want to come on and share a little bit with you regarding what happens when a situation happens on the outside that doesn't seem like that much of a big deal, something maybe a little bit simple, but it's just an encounter, might be a little bit annoying, yet on the experience inside, there is a past trauma that really surface shakes the nervous system, the whole body shakes. And it's an experience that I just had where with this morning my car was towed, and I found it kind of more humorous. I asked my younger son before teaching meditation this morning where was the car, and he said he parked it in visitor parking, and I knew that he shouldn't have, so they towed it. No big deal. Michael was out at his mother's house all day. His brother's in town, so he was gone, and I didn't have, had to go pick up the car sometime. And it just so happened to have a lot of shoulder and neck tightness today, and lots of head pressure. Anyway, so I mostly rested because there's a lot of migraine pressure, and anyway, so I get a chance to finally speak to the two individuals to go pick up the car, and managed to arrange to get a ride to go pick up the car. No big deal. And I knew this was a blessing because my son has never experienced this, and I said to him, it's a little bit annoying, so you'll see, you have to have this experience, so it's a blessing. Let's go for you to experience this. So and Michael ended up staying longer. It just so happened to be, and at his family's house. So when I called to go pick up the tow truck, the tow truck is a man here who's not friendly at all, and just doesn't feel good even honestly making eye contact with him. And again, no judgment, just doesn't feel good. So my son and I got in the car, drove, and I noticed we both had very little battery in our car, in our telephones. So we went, and when we got there, it was a very, very shady, not a good area. And instantly my system kicked in to, this is unsafe, like really unsafe. And I kept knocking on the door. Nobody was there. Meanwhile, I told the guy that I was coming to pick up my car. So had to call. Nobody picked up. And we were trying to figure out what to do with our car and the car that we were driving, and just a really bad area. The whole body started getting tense. So managed to find the manager of the apartment complex where we live, and she got in touch, and so they're like, no, you have to pay. I'm like, well, we have a parking permit, but because we parked in visitor, we still had to pay. No problem, the money is not an issue. But what happened was, as we come, while we were waiting for this person, we had to wait an hour, and meanwhile I had said to him we're coming. While we're sitting there, our battery for the phone is going, so this energy is kicking in, unsafety is kicking in more. Then I see the car that we're driving, the tire back looks kind of flat. I'm like, oh no. So suddenly my whole system feels more and more unsafe. So I have to put it together till we can just get through and just, okay, let the guy come, just get the car. And I could feel something is boiling in me. I can't quite identify it. So as soon as we did that, then we finally got a hold of Michael. And Michael, trying to figure out where is the address. He was just like not, and I could just feel the stress. And it was interesting. It felt like I couldn't get in touch with my presence at all. And I was breathing, but the stress was much more in me. My emotional body had really kicked in. So we paid and got my car out. We went to the gas station, and the air thing wasn't working. I said, let's go towards the other one. And while we were driving, my son driving slowly behind me, I was driving slow. I could feel like something's moving through me. I suddenly started kicking in how unsafe I felt, I felt like I didn't have a man to protect me. I felt, God, I just felt so unsafe. And that just started to really come into me. We got to the gas station, and my younger son didn't, the car that we were borrowing had a little bit challenge with the tire, so we tried to put the air in. That's like failing. So everything was happening, and I just felt like more rattled. So by the time we got home, Michael had put some roses, try to calm down, because he knew I was rattled. And I was like, I can't, like it, I don't feel good. And I knew better not to give to triggers. So I said to him, I said, Michael, I just don't feel good. I don't want to upset you either, but I just felt really like I didn't have support. I didn't have a man to protect me. You just like left me. You didn't even call, check in. So suddenly all these things were coming up. Good thing he didn't go into trigger. So we know better this, we put this in practice. And I was like, I just need to be alone. I went to the bathroom and I started shaking. And I was like, my God, like there's so much happening in this. So I said to my God, I'm shaking. Trauma has kicked in. Like this is way more than I realized. Like I need to be by myself. So Michael left, and I sat here and I just sat in it. What was happening? And what surfaced for me as I sat here was, and it's gonna move through me. And this is the gift of this practice, the true transformation. I sat in here and I traveled. What was this thing, this system, nervous system? And I traveled back to the time where when my father was in the fatal car crash. He died in a truck had hit him that towed the car to this tow station, and the car was smushed, and my mom wanted to protect my brother not to go, and I had to go by myself. I had to go get his belongings, and I went and I had to meet at this tow place, and this when I was 21, and everything that I experienced in that moment, the trauma had buried in me for so long, not even realizing it till this moment with the tow truck. So the gift of this meditation, the gift of this present, the gift of this silence is we're so present that suddenly kicks in, and you can't quite figure out what's happening till you're able to sit with it and walk up. So I noticed that my nervous system was like this. I was like, I welcome you in. I'm going to breathe with you. I'm going to love you. What's going on? I'm just going to love you. What is this bringing up? And he brought me straight to when I was 21, almost 30 years ago, when my dad died. And I had to go to the place by myself, the tow place, and grab his belongings, and blood everywhere, and the car completely smushed. So imagine a Mayflower truck had hit him. And I felt very unsafe. I felt very unprotected. And I was already dealing with a lot of my father's, the trauma with his death, with everything that had buried inside of me that I could never express. So, and I've done a lot of healing with my father's crossing over, and that part is done. But look at this, almost 30 years later, my nervous system, communicated so loud. A trauma being surfaced. And this is where the great presence can then hold this space as it's on its way out. It's on its way out. For that, I'm very grateful. We store so much in our mitochondria, in our cells. That's running the show behind the scene that we don't even remember or are fully conscious of it, but somewhere is in there. So today, my system like this, and it hasn't been at all like that. But just like my carving toe today and going there physically really brought it out. So I'm very grateful to the awareness and this breath of it and the liberation of it. And I'm so grateful for this journey of the last 7 months sitting in this space when things come up. You know, when it's a little bit or extreme, more like extreme today, I know what to do. Not to escape it, because it's inside of me. It's come up for me to see it, feel it, hear it, be with it, allow it, breathe with it, hold it, and just sit with my little girl, my little child that was so scared. Felt so unsafe, and let this wash over. That's why I'm sharing this with you. And I look forward to the journey of those who are journeying for the next 30 days in July. And for those who have started in June, they will go into 60 days. As this is part of the